I've been creating content for about 2 or so years, and through that time, I've used multiple different devices to capture audio, all the way from just using my iPhone microphone to using a condenser microphone, different headsets that I have, as well as recently using a wireless microphone, which you may have seen in most of my previous videos. And so I was excited when Fifine reached out to me and asked if I wanted to review their AM8 streaming microphone, which is primarily targeted at people like myself, gamers, podcasters, people who just do general streaming. And so in this video, I'm going to go over some of the great features that I believe this microphone carries and some of the stuff that's not so great. So let's take a look. So the Fifine AM8 microphone retails for around $80 on Amazon, and with that being said, I was a little skeptical about the build or quality of this microphone out of the gate, so I was surprised that when it did ship to me, that the weight of the box felt really good, and unpackaging it as well seemed quite premium. I felt that the weight of the microphone, the whole base that it comes built with, I thought was excellent. So for me, out of the gate, it gave me a good impression just unboxing this device. Now it comes with a USB-C to USB wire. You can also look on the bottom here. We also have different connectors as well, one for headphones especially, so if you want to run a headphone right to the microphone while you're doing like a podcast or a stream, that's built in. And then on the front, you got volume knobs for the headphones as well as volume for the microphone. And if you touch this here, you can change the lighting on the mic, which I thought was a nice touch and kind of fits in with the aesthetic that most streamers are going for nowadays on the microphone. The stand itself is actually quite sturdy. You have these little knobs on the side here that you can adjust to tighten it up or loosen it up. And for the most part, what you get in the box, I thought was great. Now, as far as ease of use, 90% of devices accept USB, so this was relatively easy to just plug in and my computer immediately recognized it. Now, as for the performance of the device, I thought that this captures sound at a very reasonable level. And what I mean by that is I thought it sounded clear. However, it did seem like the lower frequencies, it didn't pick up as well as my condenser microphone, the Samson G-Track that I use. However, if I'm using this for streaming, podcasting, or using it as an auxiliary mic for you know, someone else who's a part of something that I'm recording, I think this mic is fantastic for the price point. However, if I was to be making music, recording music, or doing stuff like that, or recording vocals for music, I would say that the bigger brother condenser mics that are out there definitely have a lot more to offer. Now again, I have to also highlight, this device isn't marketed as being a device that's really for that type of use. It's more for streaming, talking, podcasting, those sorts of things. And when you look at it in that lane, it's a fantastic mic, okay? So to give you kind of an example of what this sounds like, I did a couple tests with this compared to my Samson G-Track condenser microphone, and let's just take a listen. This is the Masri Arcade. This is the Masri Arcade. So as you can tell, the Samson G-Track definitely to me sounds a bit warmer, and I believe that's because you get some of the lower frequencies coming through with the recording, whereas with the AM8 it seems like that's a little cut off and it sounds a little more direct and less complex. But as a whole, I think for what most people are going to be using this microphone for, and especially at the $80 plus price point that you can pick this up for, I think this mic sounds incredible. Right? Now, one of the big problems I did have, however, is if you look right here, we got this volume knob, which seems to only really increase the volume of the microphone negligibly, right? I also tried to go through my Windows control panel and also change that to make it go higher, and I was only able to get it to go just a bit louder. And part of me assumes that that's because the actual microphone itself, They don't want it to sound like it's dithering or crackling at higher frequencies, which is understandable. But the big downside to that then is that if you're using this microphone and you're too far away from it, I could imagine that in some cases it's just not going to pick up the sound that it should, or it's going to make the sound quality sound a lot weaker than it really should. Whereas with my condenser microphone, my Samson G-Track, I can jack that dial up and it will pick up everything, including your voice, at a very high rate. So that was, to me, a downside, and something that if you're looking at picking up a microphone for streaming yourself, that you may find to be a little bit off-putting or almost annoying even when you're gaming or streaming or recording content, because you feel like you may have to be closer to the microphone overall for it to capture your voice clearly. So while there are some minor issues with the lower frequencies being captured as well as the volume, I think for what this microphone offers, I think that there's a tremendous amount of value. And what I mean by that is, if you don't have a microphone for streaming or podcasting or whatever you're doing when it comes to creating content, I would heavily recommend picking this up. And the reason I say that is because I've watched 1,000 YouTube videos in my time, even just making them as well. And I've seen a lot of people just using built-in PC microphones, iPhone microphones, and you, unfortunately, in a lot of ways, you don't get the rich tones that you really want or the sound quality that you want. And something like this for only 80 bucks is an easy fix, right? And I think that it offers a great level of value for the price point. Now, is it gonna beat out my, my big brother condenser microphone that I got? No. Is it gonna beat out some of the other higher tier Rode microphones or Shure microphones on the market? Absolutely not. But if you want good quality sound at a good price, I would say that this microphone has a lot to offer at that price point. So for 80 bucks, if you're looking to up your sound quality and your video quality overall, I think that this is a great device at that price point.